So I have a problem. I need to stop spending money on things that I don't need. And that's why I made a list of 26 things that I will no longer be buying in 2026. And this actually started last year when I decided on 15 things that I wouldn't be buying for the entirety of 2025. And the reason was because I wanted to make a positive impact on both my finances and the planet. So did I actually stick to it? We'll get into that later in this video. Now I'll be listing the things that I won't be buying this year in the order of easy to hard. Meaning that I will start off with the things I think will be easiest for me not to buy, and finish with the things that will be challenging not to buy. And there's one in particular that I am a bit worried about for sure. These are items that I either had on my list from last year and ended up not buying, or new things that I think will be pretty easy for me not to buy. And if you're thinking about doing a challenge like this, I highly recommend that you pay attention during this part of the video, because I think these items will be good for you to start with. Okay, so starting off strong with 3 things I had on my list from last year and didn't buy for the entirety of the year, which were plastic plants, scented candles, and a Polaroid camera. There really isn't much to say about any of these, especially if you already watched my video from last year where I explained why I don't buy any of these things anymore. And number 4, 5, and 6 are fabric softener and cleaning products in general, and also dishcloths. Fabric softener, again, was in my last video, and I haven't bought it for the entire year of 2025, and I don't miss it, and I will not be buying it for 2026 either. Cleaning products, again, I will use up the ones that I have, but like I said in my 2025 video, I did have a lot of cleaning products back then that I still haven't used up. So yeah, I think they will probably last me all throughout 2026 as well. And that's not because I don't clean often. Well, I probably could be better at cleaning more often, for sure. But like, I definitely use the cleaning products that I have. But since I've been moving apartments last year and finally moved in with my boyfriend at the end of the year, there are still some cleaning products left in my old apartment that haven't been used up. So they're probably gonna last me all throughout 2026 as well. And if I should run out, there are plenty of substitutes that are better for both your health and the environment, which I could make a separate video about if you're curious about that. And then, like I said, dishcloths. I have a couple of dishcloths that I just throw in the washer when they're dirty, because who knew you can actually wash them and then just reuse them. So I don't foresee me having to buy new dishcloths ever again for the rest of my life. And number 7 is another one from last year's list, which is workout equipment. When I started my workout journey about 2 years ago, I needed to make exercising as easy as possible. So I ended up buying some exercise equipment that I could have at home, so I could just roll out of bed in my jammies and start working out. But then as I got into a routine and I noticed myself wanting to, lift heavier and exercise more often and with better equipment, I ended up moving in with my boyfriend and I got a gym card that's in the bottom of this building actually. So I have a gym membership now. I still have like my old gear in my old apartment, and well, I don't need to buy any new workout equipment at the moment. So thrifted gym clothes are still okay, but I'm really, really happy with the gym clothes I have right now, so I probably won't be buying too much of them either. And number 8 is actually one that I've changed a bit from last year's list, which is books. And if you watched my last video, then you know that I didn't buy any new books for myself for the entirety of 2025. I really wanted to use my library card, and I did for like the first half of the year. I used it a lot actually. But then again, I met my boyfriend and I moved with him to the other part of town. And I haven't really gotten around to get a library card here yet. And also, I've been wanting to put more of my time into reading in 2026 than I did in 2025. And it's kind of the same as when I started working out. I want to make it as easy as possible for me to do that and get into that habit. So that's why I will still put a ban on buying new books for myself. So I'm not allowed to do that. But I am allowing myself to buy books from secondhand stores. And of course, still get a library card on this side of town so I can just read as many books as I possibly can during 2026. And number 9, again, is another victory from last year, which is new hair products and tools. I only bought refills for the things that I ran out of and didn't buy any new styling tools whatsoever for my hair, and I'm really happy about that. And number 10 is deodorant, which I mentioned in my last video as well, that I have this refillable one from Wild, and I've been using that all throughout 2025, and I will be using it all throughout 2026 as well. However, I will actually be changing the refills for this deodorant, since Wild as a company got bought up by Unilever, and I don't want to spend too much time in this video talking about why that's problematic, and thus made me want to change where I buy my refills. But there are several other videos about that on YouTube, and I can link some of them in the description so you can check them out yourself. So basically, I will still be using my Wild deodorant case, but I will be trying to get my refills from somewhere else. And I will not be buying any new deodorant for the entire year of 2026. And number 11, and this is a big one, which is a new car. 2025 was the first year in many for me where I went almost the entire year without having access to a car, and it went surprisingly well actually. I did spend a lot more money on Ubers than I did before, but that was mostly for moving things from my old apartment to the apartment where I'm living with my boyfriend now. And we are planning on moving into a bigger apartment sometime during the foreseeable future, but I think we will manage to do that without a car as well. And other than that, I live in Stockholm. It's pretty easy to get anywhere and you can get most things delivered. And I'm also really, really lucky to have friends and family that live close by who have cars that I could borrow should I really, really need to do so. So yeah, a new car is something that I will not be buying for 2026. Alright, so next up we have the mid-tier items. And they are either new entries that I think will be a little bit harder for me not to buy than the things that were in the previous part of the video, or they are things that I had on my list for 2025 but that I ended up buying anyway. So if you watched my video from last year and you want to hold me accountable, well, this section is for you. So number 12 is water bottles, and I do have my water bottle that I use when I go to the gym. I used to bring it with me to work, but I actually got gifted a new water bottle from my workplace, so now I use that instead when I'm at the office. But I still try to use this one as much as I possibly can, but unfortunately there was several times during the summer when I forgot to bring it with me when I would go for a walk or when I was just out and about and it was hot and I needed to drink something. So yeah, it's a shame that I didn't make it, but I will still be trying to not buy any single-use water bottles in 2026. And I think that if I hadn't had my reusable water bottle, I probably would have bought a lot more single-use water bottles. So it's still a win, but I will try and do better in 2026. And number 13 is in a really similar category, which is bottled soda cans or bottled soda in general. And the rule that I had for last year was that I couldn't buy them when I was in a grocery store, for example, like just buy a soda can or a bottled soda because I felt like it. If I got them while at a restaurant as a part of a meal, that was okay. But other than that, I wasn't allowed to buy soda in any form. And again, I did pretty good on this for the first half of the year, but then I kind of forgot about it towards the end of the year, and there were some instances where I was in the grocery store and just, yeah, ended up buying soda because I felt like it. Like especially the vanilla flavored Coke got me on several occasions, I think. But what can you do? So again, this is another one that I want to stick with in 2026 and do better than I did last year. Also, I will say an exception to this, aside from the eating out part, is that I will be allowing myself to buy kombucha in bottled soda cans, which is something that I discovered last year because a friend recommended it to me, and it's so good, you guys. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should. And you can get them in either glass bottles or soda cans, and I prefer the ones in the soda cans. But the thing is, they are pretty rare around here. Like, I'm not able to buy them at my usual grocery store, for instance. So even if I am allowing myself to buy them, it's not something that I will be doing very often. And as I understand it, you can make your own kombucha, so I will be looking into that as well. And number 14 is another beverage-related one, which are single-use tea bags. And I talked in my last video about the fact that I only use loose-leaf tea. But there was one instance where I really got cravings for chamomile tea, and I wanted it like right now, because most of the time local grocery stores here don't have a lot of loose-leaf tea to choose from, and definitely not chamomile loose-leaf tea. So if I would have wanted that, I would have to order it, but at that time I really didn't want to wait for it. I wanted to have it like right now, so I ended up buying some single-use chamomile tea bags. But it's fine. I mean, it's still better than if I hadn't had the rule at all. But again, I really think I can do better in 2026. And number 14 is art supplies. And this one, I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I didn't stick to. I have a huge collection of art supplies, and I made a promise to myself at the beginning of 2025 that I wouldn't allow myself to buy any new art supplies. So, like pens or journals or whatever, unless I had completely run out of the things that I already have. And there was an exception to this as well. Like, I do keep a diary, and I don't want to mix my diary journaling entries in with journals where I've written like random stuff. So that was the one exception. If I fill up my diary, then I'm allowed to buy a new journal for that purpose. But other than that, I can't buy anything. So what happened? Well, I went on vacation and I forgot my diary at home, and I really wanted to journal during this particular vacation because it was with a very close friend of mine, and we were on a solo trip, just the two of us, at a location where we were kind of closed off from everything else. Like, it was a really nice and cozy, isolated environment, and I really wanted to journal my thoughts during the trip. So one day we ended up going on a boat ride to the closest city, and I got a journal there and some pens so I could journal while we were there. So in the end, like, it was still for a good purpose, and I'm really happy about the journal in itself. I've used it a lot even after the trip to kind of just journal random thoughts that aren't like structured in the way that I like to write my diary. But it wasn't something that I was supposed to buy, and I have to hold myself accountable for that. So no new art supplies in 2026, and I really hope that I can stick to it this time. And number 16 is disposable razors, which was actually bought for the same reason as the journal that I mentioned. It was during the same vacation. I actually have a reusable razor that you just buy new blades for, but I forgot to bring it for that trip as well. So I ended up buying some disposable razors while we were in the town where I bought the journal. And again, I mean, it was a one-time thing, so it was a lot better than if I would have been using disposable razors for the entire year. But with it being such a minor slip-up, I really hope that by the end of 2026, I will be able to proudly say that I haven't bought any disposable razors for the entire year. And number 17 is tote bags. I do have like 3 tote bags that I use all the time. But while we were out Christmas shopping, I think there was one occasion where I forgot to bring one and ended up having to buy a new one. So again, a one-time thing, but I don't like it, especially when it's an item that you can use a limited amount of, if that makes sense. Like, I can only bring so many tote bags with me when I'm out on a trip, so I really don't need more than 2 or 3. But yeah, now I have it, so I'll have to make the most out of it and not buy any more during 2026. And number 18 is one that I was so close of ticking off, which was to not buy any new clothes for 2025. But I unfortunately fell victim to the trends of social media and ended up buying a new pair of knee-high boots. And it wasn't really a good purchase either. I thought that I had done my research. Like, I have a hard time in general with shoes that have heels because I think they're very rarely comfortable to walk in. And I don't know if it's just me and that I don't have like the proper skills to identify when a heeled shoe will be comfortable and when it isn't. But that's what I tried when I bought these boots, because I knew that if I were buying these new, then I really had to use them to really make up for the production and shipping that goes into the purchase of buying new clothes or new shoes in this case. So I tried to do my research and find a couple of boots that I thought would be comfortable, but in the end they weren't, and they also got worn out pretty fast. Like, I think I've only worn them a couple of times during 2025, and there's already a part of the boots that are like coming off at the toe. So yeah, kind of disappointed both in the purchase and me for buying those boots. So we'll do a restart for 2026. No new clothes, and I will definitely be trying to stick to that. But that's actually going to be a lot more challenging this year compared to last year, and I am going to talk more about why later on in this video. And number 19, the last one for the midsection, is I won't be buying a new computer during 2026. I do have a computer back in my old apartment that I haven't moved over here yet. So, but I was in luck because my boyfriend did actually have two computers, like his main one and then an old gaming computer that I have been borrowing when I'm editing these videos or gaming. So I've been really fortunate in that aspect. And seeing as we now have like 3 gaming computers in total in this household, and then we also have our work laptops, I really don't need to buy a new computer. Like I can't think of anything that I don't need as little as a new computer. All right, so we've made it into the hard tier part of this video, meaning that these are the items that I think will be really challenging for me not to buy during 2026 for various reasons. So starting off with number 20, which is hair dye. And this is actually something that I've been thinking about for a long time. I used to experiment a bit with coloring my hair. I used to have pink hair and I was a brunette for a long time. But the color that I have right now is actually my natural hair color, and it took me a long time to get it back after I was a brunette for all those years. But the thing with me is that even if I love my current hair color and I want to keep it as low maintenance as possible, I still get influenced, by looking at other people doing things with their hair and it looks so good, and it inspires me to kind of want to try those things for myself. But at the end of the day, like I said, I really like the color my hair is right now, and I think that I will be able to not dye my hair for the entirety of 2026. I will probably be a little bit upset about it though. But I think that's the thing with challenges like these, that of course you could just go out and pick things that you know that you can easily live without, but then it's not really a challenge. Like, you also have to make some sacrifices, especially if you're doing it for your future self and like the future of this planet. Okay, so number 21, this is actually going to be a really hard one, but you know what? We're just going to do it. I won't be buying anything from Amazon for the entirety of 2026. And as I'm saying it, I'm getting kind of stressed out. But the thing is, like, anything that I could get from Amazon, I could get elsewhere. And I think it's just so convenient whenever you're browsing for something that you're thinking of buying. Amazon is the one link that always pops up at the top of the page. Like, it's super convenient. I can't deny it. But again, like I said, when I mentioned Unilever earlier in the video, I could probably make a whole video about why I don't recommend you buying things from Amazon. But I won't be going into that here because then we would be here for a lot longer than I intend for this video. But for me, I know I can get the things that I would buy from Amazon from other vendors, and I'm really going to try to do that. But again, I'm a bit nervous because I've actually never boycotted an entire website like this before, or like an entire, what do you even call it? Like eShop? I don't know. Yeah, but we're gonna try. And you know what? No, we're not even going to try. We're going to do it. So again, you will have to stick around to hold me accountable so that I don't end up buying anything from Amazon during 2026. All right, so we are still going strong with the hard no buys. And number 22 is a new phone. And this was actually on my list for 2025 and I stuck to it. I didn't buy a new phone. I still have my iPhone 13 mini that I've had for I think like 3 years or something now. And the thing is, well, it still works. Like, it's a good phone, and I especially like the size of it because like I have tiny hands. So all of the new phone models that tend to come out tend to be like super large, and I can't reach across them with my fingers. So that's the reason why I got the iPhone 13 mini in the first place, because like it's mini, it's tiny, which is good for me. But what I'm discovering now as I'm filming more and more content is that it runs out of storage space super quickly. So like when I'm filming content that I want to edit on my computer, I have to transfer it into Google Drive and then I download it from there. And that process is quite boring and a little bit time consuming as well. So I tend to avoid it, which leads to my phone just running out of storage space all the time. And it's actually getting to be quite annoying. But I think in the end, it's a me problem. Like I said, if I just keep up with transferring my content to my drive and end up clearing it from my phone, I should be fine because, like I said, the phone is still working just fine. Like the battery isn't even that bad, even though it's almost 3 years old. And, for iPhones, that basically means that the battery stops working altogether. So we'll see. Maybe 2026 is the last year I will be able to use it, but for right now, it works fine. So I will do my best to not buy a new phone and just keep using this one until it stops functioning completely. So number 23 is new makeup. And this is kind of the same deal as with the hair dye that I talked about previously, that I get inspired when I see other people do these really fun makeup looks, and I want to try that for myself. But I also know that even if I do like doing a little bit of makeup on the daily, I very rarely do more than what I have on in this video. So I really don't need a palette of, 36 eyeshadow colors. It would be fun for sure, but would I ever actually use it up? No, I wouldn't. Like, even if I were to use it every day for the next 5 years, it's still like I wouldn't use all the colors. Like, okay, I don't have to go into a tangent about it, but you get the idea. Like, in my head, it's something that I really want, but I know in my heart that I don't need it, so I won't buy it. And I am, of course, allowed to buy refills for the makeup that I already have, but I'm not allowing myself to buy, like I said, a new eyeshadow palette or like a new lipstick, because I need to use up the things that I have first. So number 24, we're almost at the end, guys. So number 24, I won't be buying any new plastic shampoo bottles or plastic conditioner bottles for 2026. And this one actually makes me a little bit scared as well, but it also doesn't, because I have cut out plastic shampoo and conditioner bottles in the past. I used to have this little a soap bar, a shampoo bar, and I used that for a very long time and I liked it. But then there was some trouble with the delivery one time because I used to order them from a website. I wasn't able to buy them in a physical store. So I had to order them. And then one time, like, an order didn't arrive on time and it just kind of ended up disappearing completely. Like, I never got that order. And that kind of turned me off from that website for a little bit. And then because I didn't get my shampoo on time, I ended up going out and buying an emergency one from a store, and then I used that one till it ran out, and then I kind of forgot about the fact that I had used a shampoo bar in the past, and I just kept on getting the plastic bottle ones. But now I really want to switch back to not using any plastic shampoo or conditioner bottles. So I've actually placed an order from the same website again, and the shampoo and conditioner bars will be arriving sometime soon, probably in the next couple of days. And from then on, I will not be buying any more plastic shampoo or conditioner bottles in 2026. I think, again, in this case, it's the same as with my phone. Like, it's a me problem. I just have to make sure that I'm stocked up on shampoo and conditioner bars so that I don't run out and feel tempted to go out and buy plastic bottles instead. So these last two should almost be in a super hard tier of their own, because these are the ones that I think will be the most challenging for me not to buy during 2026. But I still think they're doable, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the list. So number 25, I won't be ordering any more clothes from Sellpy. And if you aren't familiar with Sellpy, it's basically a website where you can thrift clothes online. People are donating their clothes to Sellpy, who then sort them and post them, and you can buy them from Sellpy. And the person who sells them gets a little bit of commission as well. And Sellpy was actually a really big reason for me to be able to cut out new clothing purchases from my life completely, with the exception of the occasional new clothing purchase, with the boots that I mentioned previously in the video. Because with Sellpy, buying secondhand was just so easy. I didn't even have to get to a physical thrift store. I could just stay at home and filter on whatever I needed, because the selection is huge as well, and order it. So if Sellpy is all that great, why am I cutting it out? Well, again, it comes down to who owns it. And in this case, it's actually H&M who owns a majority of the shares in Sellpy. And the whole reason that I stopped buying new clothes in the first place was because I didn't want my money to go to corporations like H&M, who just make money out of our constant overconsumption, and they drain our planet of resources in the process. So I've known this for some time now, but I've kind of convinced myself that the ends justify the means. If I'm buying secondhand clothes from Sellpy. It's still better than if I go and buy them from H&M. But really, from a financial standpoint, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. The money still goes to H&M in the end. So I think if you're a person who is buying a lot of newly produced clothes and you want to make the switch to secondhand, I still think like Sellpy is a great way to do that. You can just stay at home and like look through the items at your own pace and kind of familiarize yourself with shopping secondhand. But for me, who's been buying clothes secondhand almost exclusively since like 2022, I really have no excuse of still buying from Sellpy because I'm so used to it by now. I know that I can find the things that I need at other places. And there are other platforms as well that kind of have the same features as Sellpy, where the money doesn't go to a fast fashion company. So I actually did place my last order from Sellpy towards the end of 2025. And yeah, that will be it. I won't be buying any more clothes from Sellpy for the entirety of 2026 and like hopefully ever. But it makes me a little bit sad to say that as well. And with that, guys, we made it to the end of the list. Number 26, the thing that I think will be hardest by far is that I won't be buying any takeaway coffee for the entirety of 2026. And you might be saying like, what, are we really ending this list with takeaway coffee? And yes, we are, because while I know that it might seem like such a minor thing to include in a list like this, it's something that I really don't want to spend any more money on, especially because I do, again, have a reusable cup that I bought especially for the purposes of getting my takeaway coffee. And have I used it? Well, no. No, I haven't. I think I've used it maybe like 1 or 2 times, which is a shame because it looks like this. It's super cute and super easy to bring with you. And I don't know why I haven't done it, but I really see no other way than me forcing myself to stop buying takeaway coffee unless I get it in this mug. And I also am still allowing myself to like get coffee if I'm at a cafe and sitting down, but I really don't want to be contributing to like all of these single-use plastic or paper cups. No, we don't need any more of that. And I have a reusable container, so might as well use it, right? So basically the reason why this is at the top or bottom on the list, depending on how you look at it, is because I do tend to get a lot of takeaway coffee. It's a thing that I feel like brightens up my day, so it's not something that I want to exclude from my life completely, but I want to do it in a way that doesn't contribute to a lot of unnecessary waste. Wow, so now I'm actually feeling both nervous and motivated to keep up with this list in 2026. But of course, we won't know until the beginning of next year how I did, so I would love it if you would subscribe and actually hold me accountable throughout the entire year. Or like maybe we could be each other's accountability buddies or something. I think that would be cute. And also, if you want to watch my No Buy November challenge, where I talk more about everything that I learned from not buying a bunch of stuff, you can check that out here. All right, so that's it for today. Take care, and I'll see you soon.